Hi, this is Brooklyn Airdrum, and we're going to discuss how to do empirical surface area calculations as opposed to trying to calculate it geometrically. So the obvious thing to do is you have a shape that's like this, let's say, and what you'd want to do is you'd want to measure, to get the surface area of this whole thing, you want to measure in millimeters, you know, the length and the width, and multiply them, all right? But so when you have weird shapes, let's consider this to be a weird shape, but you know, there's an obvious thing you can do, which is you have a grid, you print out on clear acetate like this, and you can just sit there and count squares. These are 1 centimeter squares. It's going to be a little exhausting, but you can sit there and count them, okay? And then you count them all, and you have to adjust the fact that this isn't quite big enough. You do the counting, and then you get the surface area in square centimeters. So for an odder shape, that might be a little harder to calculate, something like this, although this has a very easy geometric solution, but let's pretend it doesn't. What you do is you would take, don't worry about doing the whole airplane, right? Because it's symmetric. If it's an asymmetric design, you might have to do something a little different, but you just want to get half of it, because we're just going to multiply it by 2 and put this up here at the nose and that back at the tail like that, and we start counting. And the trick is to, if it's got more than half of the square covered, like right here, you can just see it's just a little more than half the surface area, you count it. If it's less than that, you don't. And these guys will hopefully average out over the you know, this is not rocket science. Well, it's aeronautical engineering actually. But anyway, it's just we want some approximate values here. It doesn't need to be super accurate. And if you want it to be more accurate, well, then you can do a finer grain grid or a bigger grain grid if you're not so worried about it. So this is one of the methods by which you can do the calculation of surface area. The other thing you can do is you can take this surface area, which is known, you just measure it and calculate it, and you weigh it. And you weigh it, it's going to probably have to, if it's foam, it's going to need to be a good to about 1/10 of a gram. And so you weigh how much this thing is, you know what its surface area is, and then you weigh this thing without a nose weight, because you take that off, because that's going to add weight that's not part of the surface area calculation. You weigh this, and then you take the density of what you found here and apply it to this, in terms of the weight, and then you, at the end, you can calculate the surface area that way. Thank you very much.